Hi, it's James. Welcome back to the channel. I am so glad you are here. This story is about Pastor Joe Campbell, who apparently leads the Morningside Church, and it's where Jim Bakker apparently is now going to church. The print's kind of small, so I'm going to need these. But this situation, especially with Miss Phaedra Creed, um, who several years ago, was in a car accident, and she's now using a wheelchair. But initially, I mean, she didn't have a good childhood. She was apparently living with her grandparents. Her father wasn't involved, according to the story. Um, her grandparents attended one church, but her friends invited her to attend another church, Versailles Assembly of God. And at the time, Joe Campbell was pastor of the church. And this is the thing that really bothers me, is that there were allegations at a previous church, according to the article, at Eastland Assembly of God Church in Tulsa. But the problem is the deacons of that church did not tell Versailles Assembly of God about what happened. And so Phaedra got very involved. She apparently was really good at singing. The article says, as Phaedra spent more time at the church preparing for the choir's Christmas program, Joe started to pay attention to her. He would talk to her about everything. He would also invite her into his office for discussions. She realized her dad and mother weren't around and felt that loss. She began to look to Joe as a strong male figure. And then it just got worse, because he convinced his wife to take her in almost like a foster child. And this arrangement would allow Phaedra to go to a better school. She'd be able to go to church with her friends, and she could go visit her grandparents whenever she wanted. But she started spending more and more time with Joe, and the article said he would hold her hand in front of the family in the car. She would sit back and sit in the back seat with the kids, and Becky would sit up front. He would ask her to lean over the seat, and he would pull her arm across his body so he could hold her hand. And then this is where it gets even worse. It says, the physical affection moved from kissing to petting to complete intercourse. He would do this sometimes in the house when Becky was out. He also did this in the church office. The church office. She described a closet that opened up to a little back room. Phaedra had her period, but was under the impression that Joe had a vasectomy. And then when she finally does tell the truth about this inappropriate relationship, they force her to take a lie detector test. And then, and only then, when she passes, then charges were filed. And this is the part that just blows my mind away. She was bullied by church members and friends. Now, she was bullied to the point where she refused to participate in the trial, and ultimately the criminal charges were dropped. However, the Assembly of God said, "Nah, we're done." So she had to testify again in front of the Assembly of God leadership, but he essentially lost his license to preach. But he went to a non-denominational church. He went to Morningside Church, this is Jim Bakker's Morningside Church. And it says here in the art, Pastor Joe Campbell has been in full-time apostolic ministry for over 5 decades. He's the beloved pastor at Morningside Church, gifted in the prophetic anointings of visions and dreams, and is called the pastor to pastors all over the world. He has helped to start hundreds of churches and ministries worldwide, impacting communities and changing hearts back to the Father. He's also a pervert. And then she ended up getting into a car accident in 1996 because a drunk driver hit her and it left her paralyzed. And now she uses a wheelchair. And Phaedra finally did an interview with the Wartburg Watch, very similar to how Cindy Clemenchard did an interview with the Wartburg Watch last year. And if somehow, some way, Phaedra Creed is watching, this is her. She won Miss Wheelchair International in 2022. Phaedra, we believe you. The people that watch my channel believe you. And we support you 100%. We're going to do absolutely everything we can to make sure that people like Joe Campbell, sorry, my mustache itches. We're going to do everything we can so that people like Joe Campbell are never preaching again. So, but this begs the question, how much does Jim Bakker know? Did Jim Bakker know that he hired a pedophile? Allegedly. An alleged pedophile? Did he know that he had a history of misconduct going all the way back to his church in Tulsa? This isn't a one-time event. As crazy as this sounds, and I'm not defending anything that Robert Morris did, but the independent investigation at Gateway Church said that there were no other victims of Robert Morris. This was a one-time thing with him. With Joe Campbell, there's multiple incidents. And what happened with Phaedra should never have happened. Because if the deacons of that church in Tulsa had spoken up, the church in Missouri wouldn't have hired him. That's why what we talk about on this channel is so important. When we identify somebody who is a wolf in sheep's clothing, this needs to be public record. It needs to be out there so everybody can see it. And so that he will never be behind another pulpit again. And I'm telling you, if you go to Jim Bakker's church, now some people say Jim Bakker should never be behind a pulpit again. As far as we know, his misconduct with his secretary and my gosh, it's been so long I forgot when it happened. Was years and years and years and years and years ago. As far as we know, he's never done anything else. So, and he never was with somebody that was underage. So, I'm not giving him a full pass. I'm saying compared to Joe Campbell, yeah, Joe Campbell should never be behind a pulpit again, bottom line. Hopefully, Jim Bakker will wake up and he'll realize, this guy needs to step down. He needs to, because quite frankly, he should be in prison. So, if you are new, please hit like and subscribe. I do want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I know this is hard to talk about. It's not easy. But if we don't shine the light of truth on a bad situation, if we don't identify wolves in sheep's clothing, other people could be hurt. And that's what we're trying to avoid. And that's what we're trying to prevent. So, Thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.